What's up, guys? Today I have 3 super secret, super awesome tips you won't find anywhere else that will get you a massive chest in 7 minutes flat. And I will tell you all of those right after you do the YouTube thing for me. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. I know I just said that and someone has just carried on their life watching this video the same way you always do, just that little subscribe button staring in your face and you're ignoring it. Just go ahead, just give it a little tap, just a little tappy tap, little taparoo. All right, I'll carry on now. So in case you're new here, I don't have any super secret magic tips. You may have seen some of these before, maybe not. And if you think you can get a big chest in 7 minutes, go on to another channel because this is not your place. But if you want some better flies, a little bit more of efficient movements and exercise, and hopefully some faster results, whatever pace that may mean for you, then stick around. Hopefully I've got some stuff for you. So tip number 1, you guys may or may not have seen me talk about this before. Small investment. Get yourself a half roller, get yourself a lashing strap. This is called a lashing strap. You can get these on Amazon. They literally cost like 5 of them or 6 of them for like $2 or something like that. Right now, if you just say lashing strap out loud, your phone will probably recognize it, and Amazon will have one drone to your house by the time you're done watching this video. So no excuse. Same with a half foam roller. Type in half foam roller. These are also cheap. Don't spend a lot of money on them. If someone's charging a lot of money, they're just ripping you off because it's just dense foam. So again, this can be great for any type of cable fly. This can also be good on the pec deck as well too. Again, this isn't going to be something that, I don't want to say it's not going to be a game changer because some people it is kind of a game changer. But for the fact that these cost $2, this maybe cost $10, and considering what you've spent $12 on before, I think it's a good investment. And so the whole point of this and the reason like this, so here's how it works. I went to school for this. This was a whole semester's of work. I put this around here like so, and then I pull this tight like so. The final in that class was brutal. I mean, I studied all night for it. So anyway, that's how you attach it to a bench, whether it's a little half bench like this. A full bench obviously works just fine. Also works well on a pec deck. You can even find a half foam roller. I've seen some of those because obviously you don't need any of the part of this that's hanging off the bench. You just need the part that has contact right between your shoulder blades, basically. And so the whole point of this is basically your upper arm obviously is where your pec attaches to your humerus. Your humerus is basically at the liberty of your shoulder blade. It sits right in the side of your shoulder blade. So this will allow your shoulder blades to move much more easily, and in turn can generally allow you to get more range of motion out of your pecs, specifically at the bottom and to a certain degree at the top. So at the bottom of a range of motion, because your shoulder blades are not kind of going to press and get stuck right back into a flat bench, they'll generally be able to retract further. So again, when your arm's at the end range of what it can do inside of basically the socket of the shoulder or inside the side of the scapula, if your shoulder blades pull back further, like you can just see, so if this is as far as my arm goes, and then I just pull my shoulder blade back further, even though basically my humerus hasn't moved in the side of the scapula, that pec has lengthened. So at the bottom, it allows you to pull your shoulder blades back much further. In my opinion, this is about your best opportunity to fully lengthen or fully stretch the pec. And then on the way forward as well too, especially when you're doing something with a lot of range of motion. If you're doing a press like this, staying in the bottom, your shoulder blades may or may not move a whole lot. If you're doing a fly that's basically going through, over 100 degrees range of motion potentially, your shoulder blades are going to move. So the fact that one, it allows them to really move back around this on the way back as they fully lengthen, and they can move freely as you come forward and fully shorten, fully contracted the pecs. So you still have a nice solid contact point to push into, which I think is fine, right in the center of your back. But basically you want most of the pressure and most of the contact on this roller, right in the center of your back, right in between your shoulder blades. So again, you don't really need it the whole length. So that is going to be tip number 1. Give it a try. Again, obviously I don't sell any of this stuff. Maybe I should. Instead of this being $10, I could put a little HC on it and charge you like $50, and I can have lashing straps and call them Hypertrophy super duper straps and charge $47 for them. But until then, again, just think about it hard enough and Amazon will send you some. So that's tip number 1, worth a go. Tip number 2, it's really what to think about when you're in the bottom here, and it goes really well with this, and this is for any cable fly. So again, it doesn't have to be with a roller example. You go home and you could do some cable flies, you could do some pec deck flies, not having bought any of this. You could be in the gym right now watching this maybe, which is funny and kind of weird, but you could try this tip. In the bottom of your flies, try and really focus on getting a full second pause. This can be a good tip for anything, but have a full second pause while you're fully retracted, intentionally squeezing your shoulder blades together. So feel mid-trap squeezing together. Again, one of the benefits of a fly is depending on your upper arm position, you can get more length out of the pec, so you can get a fully lengthened pec more so than most presses. So again, take advantage of that. A lot of things, this is the whole point of this exercise, is to fully stretch it and lengthen the pec and contract from there. A lot of people don't always get all the way there, and a lot of people bounce in and out of there. So next time you're doing your flies, not saying you have to do this long pause every single time, but it's a great learning tool to say, am I actually getting to this range of motion? Am I actually using my pecs there? Get to that range, squeeze those shoulder blades, hold for a second, and then focus on your pecs initiating the contraction and not just moving your arms in space. So again, pauses and things like that can be beneficial as learning tools for lots of exercises, but especially on exercises where, again, it has a unique opportunity. There's not too many exercises that you can fully stretch or fully lengthen the pec like you can with a cable fly, or like you can with even a pec deck fly. The other thing that's kind of a tip number 2.5, I'll add to that one, mess around a little bit with amounts of internal, external rotation. So as you're coming back, lots of things are always in just kind of a neutralist position. Mess around with actually externally rotating a little bit. So again, you can maybe have a slightly different handle, or even do this with normal handles. But when you're here, some people will pick up a little bit more range of motion, being a little bit externally rotated, and can stretch and lengthen that pec even further. So get all the way back there, try a little bit of different positions, give a nice squeeze of that mid upper back, give a little pause, and make sure that your chest is really initiating and doing the work. And then tip number 3 is basically just the other part of the range of motion, doing a very similar thing. When you're finishing with your flies, again, the advantage, especially with cables, especially with a pec deck, not at all with dumbbells, but where there's still load in that top position, is to fully contract and fully shorten the pec. So again, to really get into this position. So tip number 3 is practice this position before you actually get into your flies. So feel like I've got my chest tall. I always say great cue is smushing your bicep into the side of your pec. And then even once you get there, really feel like you're trying to get that bicep to the center here. So some people make the mistake, your shoulder blades can move around your ribs a little bit, but they shouldn't protract. So it shouldn't be, it's more of a move around, which will look kind of like this. I'm really trying to get that upper arm to wrap around and get closer to the center here where they attach. So there's a big difference between this and this. So, I got to wrap around and protract right to finish. This is not chest fully shortened or fully contracted. This is something else doing some stuff. So again, really before you go, bring it all the way in here, practice, flex your pecs, squeeze your chest, 4 or 5 seconds before you go. And then even on your warm-up sets, even as you go through, hold that position for a second. Make sure you feel that hard, crampy contraction on your pecs. So bring it all the way around. Once you've got cables in your hands or handles in your hands from a pec deck, get in that same position, hard squeeze for a second or two. Make sure that this is, again, moving towards the center of your chest, wrapping around your side, not going straight forward. And again, make sure that you really feel that your chest is doing the work. You combine tips 2 and 3 there, especially at least on warm-up sets. I'm not saying every single time you do it, hold for a second back, hold for a second here. But doing those, you're going to ingrain basically much better form. Make sure that your pecs are working start to finish the whole range of motion, which is the whole point of training. And again, when you take it more into what you would consider your normal tempo, you're doing your heavier sets, your working sets or whatever, you're much more likely to have it on your pecs, doing work the whole time. And again, not messing up, bouncing out of the bottom, letting something else finish to the top, which ultimately, if it's harder for your pecs, should have those pecs growing faster. So that is it. That's the tips for these ones. Hopefully you find those helpful. And again, if you enjoyed this, if you found something useful, if you have any questions, comments, questions below, all that good stuff. And until the next one, bye-bye.